What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're returning to my series where I focus on the best fighters in the world. I give you 5 things that they're exceptional at with training tips so you can be a little bit more like them. Now I have strayed away from this series accidentally over the last couple months, but we're returning today with Liam Harrison, who is one of the best Muay Thai fighters in the world. Now, I also have a little bit of interesting side information for you. I just don't think Liam likes me much. We're going to talk about that in the episode as well. But I have nothing against the guy. He's an amazing fighter, and I'm very much looking forward to his upcoming bout for the 1FC title against Nong O. I believe that is just about 1 week away, even less now, and I'm just so pumped to watch that fight and the entire card, obviously. So let's roll the intro and let's dive into 5 things that make Liam Harrison so good. Now, I want everybody to remember that this series is not new, focusing on 5 things that these spectacular fighters throughout the world are so good at. I've been doing it for a while. I'm not sure what episode number this is off the top of my head, but we might be at 26, 27, 28, somewhere in there. So I will link the playlist up here and you can find many other episodes looking at these incredible fighters and me just focusing on what they're so good at and how you might go about training certain things so you can improve those skill sets which they have. Now, what's interesting for me about covering Liam Harrison is he's actually somebody who's at my weight class. We actually both fought in Japan on one of the very first big 8-man tournaments within Glory. He was on an opposite bracket of me and ended up losing, I believe, to Masaki Nori by a cut. I was on the other side. I made it through to the semifinals. We've never ended up fighting one another. But making this video and watching him just kind of reminded me that in the past, I had in my mind kind of scouted out or thought, this guy is so good, and when I fight him, I figured it was only a matter of time because we were both in Glory. When I fight him, what am I looking at in terms of him being really good? How am I going to defeat those areas? And then, of course, what are his weaknesses? But we're not focusing on the weaknesses today. We're just talking about why he's so good. So the big threat, which I would note, which pretty much everybody who watches Liam Harrison will also note, which is our first point for today, Liam Harrison low kicks. They are scary. They are devastating to many fighters. I've not seen too many people who can absorb his low kicks over and over and over and stand there. That means he's kicking very hard, but it also means his timing is very good. He's not throwing and clashing. He's not absorbing shots into the knee that often. He's utilizing timing to land. And his kicks are also very short in the sense he doesn't load up on them and you don't see them coming big and rounded. He keeps his hips very square. He does not pivot a whole bunch, which is odd for a low kick. He kind of throws his low kick like Joseph Valtellini, and when he executes, everything stays fairly stiff. Now, this might reduce his power a tiny bit, but it already looks like he kicks super hard. The advantage here being his execution time is so fast, and it's that much harder to see the kick coming. In addition to that, he's also somebody who's very difficult to counter off the low kick because he does not expose his head an enormous amount. He doesn't take his time on the rechamber, pull back really slow, and have his hand way down low. He has a very good job of keeping everything tight together, and that opening for counter shots is very difficult to land. If I was fighting against him and I didn't know too much about his low kick, somebody said this guy's really good at low kicks, I would go, okay, when he low kicks, I'm either going to check and come back with my hands, or if I eat it, I'm just going to start firing back in the boxing department. But very hard to do with this guy. You guys all know Liam Harrison for his low kick, so I'm not going to talk about it any further than that. Let's move in to point number 2, which would not be a massive concern for me if I was fighting him because I am a kickboxer. I'm not really interested in fighting with elbows, but his elbows are very dangerous. In particular, how short and explosive they are. So if you decide to get inside in that tight boxing zone and you happen to be fighting him under Muay Thai rules, you have to be very concerned about him sneaking an arm to the inside and just firing up to the jaw. We have seen him within ONE FC and many other fights land these short, devastating elbows that don't come out of nowhere, obviously, but kind of appear like, oh, he just landed that. Where did that come from? With all his time in Thailand and the videos I've watched of him teaching how to get your hands in certain positions and fire off if the person does not control the bicep, he has a very good understanding of how to snake the arm to the inside and take advantage of short elbows when people are not properly protecting themselves. Massive danger if you are fighting Liam Harrison under Muay Thai rules as opposed to kickboxing rules. The next thing which is very dangerous to Liam, at least that I note when I watch him, is I go, whew, he's a hard guy to land round kicks on and not be punished in some aspect for them. So very often, if I throw my round kick, he's very good at fading backwards and then coming with that fast, sharp low kick, which we already talked about. In addition to that, and possibly even more concerning if I was fighting him, is when you throw the round kick, he's very good at trapping or wrapping it up and then dumping you down to the ground. It's very, very demoralizing when you go to throw an attack and you end up on your back or your side having to lift yourself off the canvas. When you fight guys like this, you obviously have to go, okay, he's going to catch a lot of my round kicks. How am I going to go about avoiding that? Well, maybe I need to set them up behind hands. If you're looking to improve your catching skills, right now I apologize, I don't have a full tutorial together on all the catches you can do. I will have that in the future. But if you already know the sort of technique, like the round kick comes and you step away and you trap, or the round kick comes to this side and you trap and hollow out and sweep. If you know all that, but you're still having trouble executing, what I suggest you do is start with simple drilling where somebody in front of you, let's say I'm attacking you guys. I don't just go and throw the round kick over and over and over because you see it coming and it's easy to trap. You have somebody throw some hands at you. They box a little bit. Maybe they throw a low kick. They keep you busy and then they come up for the body round kick, and in that moment of defending everything else, you have to make that distinction in height and then execute the traps. You do this back and forth with a partner, and that's how you sort of get to that point where you can start executing these throws like Liam Harrison does. The next thing that is very scary about Liam Harrison, that makes him very good, is the power with which he throws his hands. Now, naturally, he's a shorter fighter than me. He's wider than me, so he should hit harder. But the way he does pads is ferocious. He's not one of those guys who goes in, and it's not a way that I like doing pads. I don't like seeing people do pads where they're kind of, they take their time and they do like 5-minute rounds, but it's all chill. When he hits the pad, oh my gosh, he's going hard. Oh, he's going hard. Everything looks 100% with this guy. And then that relates in the fight because he also throws hands 100% in the fight. That makes him scary. It does not mean he has the best boxing ever, but it means if he lands, he's gonna hurt you. And I like people who commit fully to their attacks in that fashion where they're ripping the shots in, because you have to be extra cautious of these guys. They're not holding back, they're giving 100%. And if they happen to land, especially with the 4-ounce gloves that Liam is fighting in nowadays, people are gonna go down. They're gonna go out. It'll be interesting to see him against Nongo, who is so darn tough, and see if Liam can actually put him down, because I kind of have a feeling like anybody with 4-ounce gloves, even the toughest guy in the world, can go down with those small, tiny, little concrete things that were almost an excuse for a glove, not really a glove. If the two of them were fighting under kickboxing rules with bigger gloves, I don't think he could hurt Nongo with his hands. But with these 4-ounce ones, the possibility is there. If you're wanting to punch like Liam Harrison, you want that power. It's very simple. I mean, it takes time, but overall it's simple. It's the same thing I say to people who want to punch faster. When I'm teaching my kids program, I tell them, if you want to get your punch out 10% faster, well, you need to start throwing it as fast as you can when you actually have the opportunity to do that. You can't be throwing 90% and think that you're going to somehow get faster. Same idea, if you want to increase your punching power, you need to punch 100% a decent amount of the time. Your body will get stronger, the muscles will build, you'll learn about the correct angle to make sure that you're hitting and maximizing power. Don't go in 50, 60, 70%. Hit hard in many things you do, and naturally you will start to hit harder like Liam does. And like I said, his pad work shows you exactly what can happen when you train with that intensity. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about today before we get to the little bit of a story on why Liam might not really be a fan of me is I want to talk about this guy and his ability to go to war, or his willingness more to go to war. Some people, when they get hurt, they have that tendency, you can see them, they just back off. They shy a little bit. Whether it's from fear or more like myself, if I get hit in a fight and I'm hurt, I go, you know what, I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to take my time over the next 20, 30 seconds and make sure that if I get clipped a second time, it's not going to knock me out. That is one of the reasons I have not been knocked out in fights. I take that time and I am cautious. Liam does not seem like he is that guy. And that's a reason that this guy is so dangerous. You hit him, you hurt him, you can expect for him to get up and be ready to throw down. You are not getting out of a fight easy with this dude. He will go to war with you, and he's one of those people, I don't like the expression, but they'll go out on their shield. I really feel like he is somebody who will go out on his shield. You're not going to put this guy out unless maybe you hit him with a body shot like Mosab Amrani did, where you just literally take the wind out of him and you can't keep fighting. But if you hit him to the head or you chop him to the legs, I feel like he will just get back up. And make no mistake, that is scary. That is an asset as a fighter. And it's one of the reasons where I went, ooh, if I'm going to fight Liam, I got to be in the best shape of my life. Not only in terms of cardio, but in terms of my body conditioning. Because I know I'm going to have to hit him and he's going to hit me back. And then I'm going to have to hit him again, and he'll probably hit me back because he will stay in that zone and he will exchange. So we have the 5 things there which make him so good. Now, make no mistake, with these guys, these top guys in the world, there are many things that make them so exceptional. I just picked 5 things which I note after watching them for somewhere between 5-10 minutes before I film this. Some guys like Burkau, I've watched him so many times, it's very easy for me to decide what are the best. But I don't watch Liam as much as I might watch Burkau or Jersey or Petrosian. So I sit down, I decide these are what we're going to talk about today. They look very exceptional at that, but there's many more things that Liam is great at. Now let's do a little story time. Let's just talk about the history that Liam and I have and why he might not like me. I got a cheeky comment one time on my Instagram after I posted a video about how to low kick like Joseph Valtellini and Liam Harrison. And it was from his account, so I'm assuming it was him. Maybe it was somebody else who runs it. And it just said something along the lines of, leave this to the pros. Leave it to the guys, like teaching it. Leave teaching low kicks to the guys who are exceptional at it. And I understand that. Of course, if you are somebody who is really darn good at it, you're the one who should be teaching it. But I don't have the luxury of having Liam Harrison on my channel since he's way across the ocean. So sometimes I like to go on and teach what I see. Now, from there, I kind of thought, it's not a big deal. But then at one point, I was talking with a promoter within Canada about fighting Saenchai. I said, if you can get me Saenchai, I don't really care at this point. If you're paying me this amount or this amount, I just want to fight the guy. I want to show that I actually do think I can beat him. You might laugh at me, but I beat Lerdsila. I've beat many people in the world who are very good. Give me a shot. I will try my best. And I got something back from the promoter saying, no, okay, Saenchai's not interested in fighting you, but Liam will. Liam will fight you. And then he went on to tell me that Liam said he thinks I have no chance against Saenchai. And I guess Liam Harrison probably thinks he's better than me. Fair enough. Most fighters think they're better than the competition or the other guys at their weight class. And Liam lost to Saenchai a number of times now. I want to say 3. So his mindset is probably, I think I'm better than Gabriel. I lost to Saenchai. Gabriel cannot beat Saenchai. And then on top of all that, like I said early in the episode, we were both on the glory card together. And, Liam didn't make it as far as me in the tournament. And then he fought Mosab Amrani and got KO'd by Mosab Amrani. I went in shortly after and beat Mosab, not by KO. I had to go the distance with him. But, there's just a few little things there where, okay, maybe he doesn't like me. I don't think I've done anything wrong to the guy, and I don't hold anything against him because I think he's actually a very good teacher, an incredible fighter, and probably a very nice guy. And that's why I brought him on the channel today, not in person, but I wanted to address him. Number one, because I don't hold anything against the guy, and he inspires so many people throughout his career. And number 2, he's fighting Nong O very soon, which is a fight I'm just super excited about. So it seemed like an appropriate time to just do a Liam Harrison episode. So I hope everybody enjoyed this little breakdown of why this guy is so good. His chances against Nong O, I'm sure some of you guys are thinking that right now. Well, why doesn't Gabriel address that? Well, I will. Do I think Liam has a good chance of beating Nong O? Like I said, his low kick is dangerous. He'll go to war. He throws power punches. His elbows are just sharp, exceptional little razors. And he's very good at catching those kicks and dumping people. But with all that said, I don't think he has a spectacular chance against Nong O. I already have a video out about 5 things that make Nong O so good. And Nong O, I think I actually say in that video that that guy to me is scary. Like, I watch him and I go, oh my gosh. I just said in it, I would not fight this guy under Muay Thai rules. There is no way. Kickboxing rules, I would do it, but I would know I was in for the fight of my life. With Liam, I don't have that same fear. So I basically go, when I think about fear versus fighters at my weight class, I give Nong O a pretty good edge in this fight. But if, Liam comes out and lands some big shots and gets the victory, I also won't be super surprised because, he's just so darn good. Everything we talked about today gives him that ability to go and defeat this Thai legend who is just so dangerous. So that's it from me, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. If you have a fighter you want me to cover, which I have not already, make sure you check out first. And I haven't already made a video on them, but you can drop that in the comments below. I will try and get a video made on them. If you guys are liking the videos I'm putting out, please get subscribed, support the channel. Every extra subscription, view, watch time, it all helps. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you guys back here soon for another video.